Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the tank review for the brand new American Tier 10 Premium Heavy Tank, the MBT-B. Now if you've been playing this game for 7+ years, you will have got this tank in your garage for free. And then below that is various amounts of discounts that you will have unlocked for the amount of time that you've been playing this game. So for a fair amount of people, they will have managed to get this tank completely for free with this skin. And on the whole, I think the tank looks really cool, and the skin is really quite nice for it too. What do I think of the MBT-B? Well, the MBT-B to me is a pretty bog standard Tier 10 American heavy tank, if I'm honest. It does pretty well hull down, the gun handling's pretty nice, the DPM's okay, the hull armour's alright. Lower plate isn't very good, but the upper plate can bounce quite a bit, but gets penned a decent amount by premium rounds. The mobility's pretty okay as well. On the whole, it's just a pretty decent tank, and for free, you can't moan. And for the various discounts, because you can get it for quite a bit discounted depending on how long you've played the game, it's a pretty decent pick up, if we're honest. I have enjoyed playing the tank so far, and especially in the games where it hasn't been like 10 MBT aside, you know how it goes when there's a free tank going off. And yeah, it's a pretty damn decent tank. If you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe down below as well. You know, that typical YouTuber stuff. It really does help the channel. And without further ado, let's get into the MBT-B. And shh, don't worry about the pandas. So, in terms of statistics with the MBT-B, you can see we've got a 1,000 horsepower engine with a 40 km/h top speed and a 15 km/h reverse speed, which gives us a 16.67 horsepower per ton ratio. Or should I say, we have a 16.67 horsepower per ton ratio. That really helps us hit that 40 km/h top speed, and it does hit it pretty easily. So the mobility on this tank is pretty damn nice. That's one of the strengths of the tank, is the fact that it does go a little bit quicker than your average heavy tank. 15 km/h reverse speed isn't too bad either. It does help you get back round the corners a little bit if you overextend. You have a 20% internal fire chance, which is on the high side of fire chances. I haven't really been set on fire yet, but it's definitely on the higher end. You have a 2.2k hit points, which is definitely a good slab of hit points to use for a Tier 10 heavy tank. Means you can take a fair few hits and you can dish out the damage and trade quite effectively with it. You've got a 34 degrees a second hull rotation speed, which means this thing turns actually pretty quickly, which is quite nice. It's not a really slow turner, so you can turn on the 6 points fairly quickly with it. You got a 2.6 on soft terrain, 1.4 on medium, and 1.3 on firm. These two aren't too bad, and you can knock those down with some of the cruise skills. And the 2.6 on soft is quite bad, but to be honest, they don't really draw back on the top speed whatsoever for the MBT-B, so you don't really have to focus on them too much. But if you feel like the tank is a little bit too sluggish for your liking, you can definitely run off-road driving and get these down. Camo, well, it's a heavy tank, so no one cares. View range, you've got 400 meters of view range, which is absolutely fantastic. It means that you can get it up above 500 really quite easily, and that means that you'll be able to devalue people's camo, you'll be able to outspot things, and you can get yourself a good amount of assistance a lot of the time as well if you play it right, which is definitely great. And it's pretty standard, really, for a Tier 10 tank as well to have 400 meters view range. You have 28 degrees a second on the turret rotation speed, which is slower than your tracks, so you want to kind of help this turret rotation if you can, so that you're not having the the turret not keep up with the tracks. So you could definitely probably want to run rapid aim on this tank to make sure that this turret can keep up with those tracks. You got 0.95 accuracy during rotation, which isn't too bad. And again, if you run the gun stabilizer, snapshot, etc., you'll knock that down to a decent level. You got 20 degrees of gun elevation, which is fine. You got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is fantastic. Means you will be great on a ridgeline, and you will have no problems whatsoever. You'll be able to go hull down and love life in this tank, which is always a great thing for a heavy tank and a medium tank, and a light tank, anything really in this game. And it's pretty standard really for Tier 10 Americans, that is. 8 to 10 degrees of gun depression, which is always lovely. You got a 10.9 second reload, which on paper looks a little bit long, but you knock it down to about 7.5 to 8 seconds for 420 alpha. It's definitely pretty nice. You've got a 0.34 accuracy, like I say. You're getting onto the more accurate end of the spectrum when you're going below 0.35. You got 2.31 accuracy during movement, which is actually pretty decent as well. And again, with run and gun, with the gun stabilizer, you can knock that down quite a bit, and it means that this gun does feel really, really nice. You've got a 2.3 second aim time as well, which isn't too bad as well with it, which means that it doesn't take too long to get this gun aimed in on target. It makes this gun feel a little bit snappy at times, which is definitely very nice for the tank. You've got 265 penetration on this AP round. You've got 330 heat pen on, well, 330 pen on this heat round, which is glorious. Penetration is fantastic on this tank. You've got 90 HE pen as well, which again is actually pretty decent. So yeah, you've got 3 pretty damn nice rounds with the MBT-B, and they're all very, very useful. I mean, the 330 heat is delightful because you can go through all of the super heavies quite easily if you hit them in the right spots, and 265 penetration is also not very low. It's actually on the higher end of standard pen in tier 10, so for heavy tanks, that is. So that is pretty nice as well. You got 420 alpha as well, which is a bit odd for the 120mm gun. 420 alpha is a really weird number, because a lot of the guns when the 120s have like 400, so you do have that extra 20 alpha, which helps you with your rolls a little bit. You do tend to notice there's a lot of rolls where they're rolling for, like, 400, 430, 410, 440. You notice in those slightly higher rolls because of having that 420 average. So that's something that is actually, again, quite nice for the MBT-B. In terms of your shell velocity, you have 1200 meters a second on the AP, 1000 on the heat, and 900 on the HE. So bear in mind that your heat round is slower than your AP round. So yeah, you really have to adjust for the shell velocity a little bit. But 1000 meters a second for heat round is really quite good, and 1200 meters a second on the AP round is pretty damn nice, actually, to be honest, for an AP round on a tier 10 heavy. So it means that you don't have to lead quite as much as you do with certain other heavy tanks. I mean, what is it on the E5? Because I swear the E5 is, what, slightly slower? Yeah, 1067. So you actually have better shell velocity than the E5 even, which is definitely, again, an asset for the MBT-B when you are firing at range. And as this is a tier 10 premium tank, you don't get really any bonuses except for a little bit extra on the tank XP bonus. So if you are having to buy this tank, bear that in mind that you don't get any bonuses on it as it is a tier 10 premium. So let's have a quick look at the armor. So this is the armor model here of the MBT-B, and the one thing I want to point out in this section before I go over to Tanks GG, because we have the same armor model as what are on the PC files, is that this little viewfinder here and this little viewfinder here / machine gun, when you have a look at the visual model, are not modelled. So if we were to go all the way across to here to have a look at the whole armor layout, you can see they are completely see-through. As you can see, that bit there and that bit there, they are see-through, which means they are not hitboxes, I should say. They're modelled so you can see them on the tank model, but they're not hitboxes, so you can shoot right through them. So bear in mind that you will do absolutely no damage if you shoot these spots. But bear in mind with this one here is that this is actually a machine gun and a viewport. That bit there is actually pennable and shootable. So that is the weak spot of the MBT-B when you are shooting at it when it's hull down or when it's on flat, as long as you can't see the lower plate. But what I'm going to do is take you over to Tanks GG, because, like I said, the armor model is the same as it is on the PC files for us, and you can see here that that's not modelled even on the Tanks GG model here and here. So, this is the MBT-B's armor model whilst facing it flat on. And this is where I say the turret is really, really nice. You can see 350, 450. It's really quite an effective turret. It's really, really strong, and especially when you go hull down, it will be fantastic for you. That's the weak spot there. If this thing goes hull down on you, 240 penetration, or probably 250 to 260, will go through the MBT-B's little cheek here that you can see. As long as you avoid this rounded section here on the tank, it hits there, it will go through, and it will probably damage the ammo rack. I mean, this is the MBT-B with 265 pen shooting at itself, so 87% chance to go through that flat spot there. So if you were to be looking at this with the visual model, you can see that's a machine gun and that's that, so it's really quite hard to see because it's visually obscured by the model. But just shoot where the machine gun is, this little machine gun, and hopefully you'll hit the flat spot, and that's where you'll pen it when it's hull down. Okay, so that is the weak spot of it, hull down, and I'm trying to get that across to you, that that's where you want to shoot. You don't want to shoot this right hand side, because this right hand side you will, oh sorry, this left hand side, I don't know about left and right. Yeah, you don't want to shoot this left-hand side because you won't pen it, really. You want to shoot this right-hand side here. But other than that, you can see here as well, This upper plate is about 330 to 340 effective on flat, which means that, yeah, the higher pen premium rounds at tier 10 will go through it quite easily sometimes, and it'll be a little bit irritating in that regard. So it's something you've got to be just very, very careful of. This part here is a really well-angled spot, so it's going to be quite difficult for most shells to penetrate. I mean, if we were to load heat here with the 330, sorry, you can see even then, actually, it's pretty damn difficult to pen even with heat on that, and that bar there is still very, very difficult. The lower plate, however, is complete cheese, so be very careful with this lower plate. Make sure that you keep it well covered, and you can make it as difficult as possible to shoot. If it is on flat, though, you're seeing some problems here for the tank. So if I load AP, these cheeks here on the hull, 230. Yeah, if someone is shooting at you, they can shoot these little flaps here on the left and right of the hull, and they can pen those as well. It's another spot that you might want to aim for when you are trying to shoot at the MBT-B, but it's one of those things that it might be quite difficult for you to hit, but these spots will catch shells, and that is a problem for you in your MBT-B, because when you try to side scrape, you go, haha, you cannot penetrate me. Oh, you can, because you can hit the cheek. So this tank isn't actually that good at side scraping whatsoever either. Because of that, it's maybe something that you want to avoid, because it weakens this section here as you are side scraping, but also it makes it quite easy for them to pen you on this little cheek spot here. And when you are using the gun depression of the tank, like I say though, it is a very, very formidable tank. It still has this weak spot of the cheek here, so if you want to try and shoot it, try and shoot to the right of it. But you can see that the hull down is still a very, very mean target to hit. So, yeah, that is the armor model of the MBT-B. That's how you try and pen it, take it down, etc. Let's get a crew and the equipment in it. So I put the crew in the T58 Heavy. Let's go stick it over here. So in the MBT-B, I do run the commander of Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanic, Rapid Aim, Run and Gun, Snapshot, Steady Aim. These 3 gun perks, because I want to make this gun as good as it can be, and it obviously being a heavy tank is all about the gun most of the time. Rapid Aim to make sure the turret traverse keeps up with the tracks if I can. Trap Mechanic, because I do get stuck in, so I want to make sure that I can get my tracks back on as quickly as possible. And, well, these 5 perks you're going to take on pretty much every tank in World War II, if we're honest. And then in terms of equipment, I run, if we put food on, I run the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself. The gun stabilizer to make sure that this gun is, again, as good as it can be. It can be as snappy as I can make it. And the advanced loader to make sure that the DPM is as good as possible. So let's have a quick look at the stats of the tank while it is fully upgraded, well, fully set out. And that is that this tank now has some slightly better ground resistances because of Born Leader. We've got 512 meters of view range now, which is fantastic. We've got a 34 degrees a second of turret rotation now, which is actually, well, 34.06, which is ever so slightly better than the hull, which is why I wanted rapid aim. We've got a 7.95 second reload, which again, you can knock down to about 7.5 seconds if you boost with food, which is really quite nice. You got nearly a 3.2k DPM. You have 0.28 accuracy, which again is pretty damn accurate. Accuracy is now 0.63 during rotation, which is fantastic. 1.32 during movement, which again is very good. And a 2.12 second aim time, which means this gun does get aimed in very, very quickly. And that is great for the MBT-B. So let's have a quick look at its tech tree competitor. So you got obviously the MBT-B here with nearly 3.2k DPM, 0.28 accuracy, 2.12 aim time. And we've got the E5, which is kitted out in pretty much the same way. So the turret traverse on the E5 is better, but it's got slower hull traverse. You're 3 kilometers an hour a second slower on the E5, but you've got a similar power to weight, and you do hit that. You've got a 6.13 second reload, which is 3.9k DPM, so you can see that the DPM is better. The gun handling on the tank is better as well, and you've got a 1.84 second aim time, which makes this gun phenomenal. The only real downside to the E5 compared to the MBT is the fact that you have slightly slower shell velocity. And to be honest, the armour on the E5 is probably a little bit better as well, in the fact that its hull armour is a troll little thing to shoot at, like the lower plate and stuff. The only real thing for the E5, well, the only real thing for that's bad on the E5R model compared to the MBT-B is the fact that this cupola is so huge and easy to hit, whereas the MBT-B's little cheek spot, is what I'm going to call it, is really obscured by the model and can be a little bit of a pain to hit. But other than that, the E5 is one of the best tech tree heavy tanks at tier 10. It's an absolutely phenomenal tank. And the MBT-B, does that make the MBT-B bad? No, because the MBT-B is also very good in of itself. It's just slightly worse than an E5, right? But for free, fantastic. I mean, and even for the big discounts you can get for like 6 or 5 or 4 years of playing, it's a pretty damn good pickup to have. It's just a steady eddy of a heavy tank. It does things pretty consistently. It's a pretty damn nice tank to play, and I found it pretty damn enjoyable, if I'm honest, to play it. And yeah, that's the MBT-B. That's all the statistics. That's the armor model. That is the tank. So what I'm going to do now is send you over to the replays where you can check it out for yourselves, see how it handles, and yeah, hope you enjoy that. I'll see you in the replays. So here we are in the replays with the MBT-B, and this first game we are on Westfield, and you can see the MBT only has 3 of them, which is pretty good so far. And on Westfield, in the MBT-B, what we're going to do is we're going to do the position at C/B3. Up on the ridge lines, fighting hull down, that's where we want to be in this tank. We've got the good mobility at 40 kilometers an hour to get there. We seem to have pretty decent horsepower as well, which means getting up these hills ain't too bad. And if we can take that position at C2, C3, that'd be great, because then we can shoot across the people that go up the 1-2 line. As long as we've got some backup, though, because obviously tends to happen sometimes where people will just sit back at this position on this ridge here rather than move up to the next ridge line, and that tends to be curtains for the people that do push up sometimes, which is pain. So yeah, the ridge lines up front are pretty damn good for heavy tanks, and they're a good spot to go. I mean, I was tempted to go to the position at F7 and shoot across down the K line, but I thought, well, I don't really have the camo for that. I do have the mobility to get there, but I might not catch people crossing, and yeah, most of the time you end up getting spotted and shot and farmed from there as well if you do take that position too early. So we're pushing up. We're going to get to the ridge line. You're seeing here, the mobility of the tank is pretty good, if we're honest. The fact that this thing can get up to its top speed really quite easily, and even on inclines like we're at now, you know, the downslope is quite significant, and we're still doing like, what, 28, 29. It's really, really nice for the MBT, and it really helps you to get to those aggressive positions quite quickly for a heavy tank. So we've got here, and this machine has beat us to it, naturally, because it's a very fast tank, but he's managed to only pen us once and burnt the rest of his clip into us. He got tracked by our friend, and we managed to get the second tracking shot in, but sadly he gets away. We go for the shot into his drive wheel again, and we hit the floor, because sometimes the gun does like to hit the floor, even though it's a fairly accurate gun. It just goes, you know what, that piece of ridgeline there, I like that ridgeline, I'm going to hit it. And you're like, no gun, don't do that, thank you. So yeah, we decided, okay, with that, we've seen where the machine was, we saw where the MBT-B was. I wasn't having any of that, we had no real backup, so we've pulled back to the next ridgeline, because that's the best thing you can do in that situation when you realise you don't really have the support. Pull back. Don't just sit there and go, oh, I've got no support, and then moan about it, because if I'd stayed there, it would have been quite likely that I'd have got farmed from the ridgeline above me as well. And yeah, we'd have died very, very quickly. So now we've fallen back to this next position. We get a nice shot through the 705A's lower plate. We tried to go for a shot into the other MBT-B's lower plate, but it hit his upper plate, sadly, and we missed. We get a nice shot there. We hit that shot. We hit that. We hit that shot into the side of that 705A's turret. We hit that shot, but not the lower plate shot, obviously, of the MBT-B that was a slightly bigger shot. And that one. And that one. Thank you, Gum. And unfortunately, we missed the shot into the lower plate of that MBT-B as well. Just looking for the cheek spot, but can't see it. The 705A is pulling out, but just not enough to give us his side, so we can't quite get the shot we want. The MBT-B is up on top of the ridgeline, though, so we slam a shot straight through his lower plate for 360, which is it's a bit of a low roll, because we've got 420 average. Just looking for shots into the machine, but we can't quite see it. Again, we're going to look for that cheek spot. Unfortunately, we bounce. That's the benefit of this thing hull down to the E5, in the fact that that cheek weak spot, you can hit it. And like I say, you will probably actually damage the ammo rack of the tank as well. But it's a pretty difficult shot to hit, especially when it's hull down. It really does struggle to get the shot in to actually pen that spot. It's just one of those spots that will be really quite annoying, if I'm honest, when you are hull down, because it'll be one of those spots that, you know, one of those weak spots that just takes a hit and you go, ow, they weren't aiming for that, it just went in. If you know what I mean? Right, just one of those annoying weak spots like that. So we go for the cupola shot on the Centurion AVRE, who is looking at us, and sadly we missed, so we load heat so that I can just go straight through his turret front if I can. But the 705A, sod's law, the 705A was driven straight sideways on, gave us his drive wheel, would have been able to pen that if we'd fired AP, but heat rounds get absorbed by the tracks, so we only tracked the 705A. We go for the shot into the side of the AVRE as well, and that goes in. He's having to give us his sidearm to try and depress his gun, so we put another shot in, and unfortunately he splashes us for a good, what, 500 damage there. No problem whatsoever. But we're just keeping ourselves up and down on this ridgeline, keeping our eye on what's going on our left, and there you go, the machine pops over, gets a shot into our side. We can't quite get the shot into him. The other MBT-B fires a heat round at us and bounces. We get the shot into his side though. And then the machine is coming over trying to get some shots into us. Unfortunately, the MBT-B also gets the shot into our drive wheel, which tracks us in place. And now we're on 600 hit points here, which is a little bit awkward. He gets another shot into our drive wheel because we didn't angle up enough, which then tracks and pens us. We're going for that cheap weak spot again, and unfortunately the gun just derps and flies over the top of his tank. And we're in a kind of a fairly safe position from him, but unfortunately, not from the 705A, who's progressed up on top of the ridgeline, and he ended up getting a shot into the side of our turret and shutting us down. And unfortunately, we did lose that game with 4k damage, but that just kind of showed the tank off a little bit where it's hull down. You can keep the gun working. The fact that the gun does derp a little bit here and there, the alpha's pretty nice, and the fact that your armor is actually pretty decent where you are hull down, you will bounce a fair few shots and all that good stuff. And it showed the ability of getting to that spot quite early on as well with the MBT-B. And we're on to the second replay of the video, and the second replay we are on this map. What is this map? Rezanai! Rezanai! Yay, we got there. Well done, Brain. Pat on the head, Brain. Pat on the head. So, on Rezanai, what we're going to do is we are going to take the castle. And especially in these spawns, in the encounter spawns, because they spawn at K2 and they spawn at K4, which means they will get to the castle pretty quickly, the same as we will, which means a lot of the fighting tends to happen in this castle. So we see the 4202 on our left. We know there's people on the right as well, you can see them there, but they're on the other side of that wall. So that makes me pretty confident that I can push up and attack this FV4202. So we go for the shot into his back end. I was actually going for the shot into the back of his turret there, I just missed shot, but I still hit it anyway, because, yeah, lol. We go for the drive wheel shot so that we can track and pen him in place. I was hoping to just pin him there, but unfortunately for us, he does repair that. We can just about see the top of his turret, but he ends up going round behind cover, which is safe from us, but not from the Conway or the Centauro. And the Centauro, well, actually it's the Conway that shot him down. But that gets rid of the FV4202. Now I want to try and get myself in a position to try and help our team over here, because they have a lot of people over on this spot over here, and we want to try and get a gun in the game, get our gun into action and try and help out if we can. So we get a shot into the MBT-B that's overextended, then drop down the ridgeline because we were giving him our side and we had a guy directly behind us, so we didn't want to be in that situation. And also, they do have people next to the castle as well, which is something we, or the whatever it is, the keep, that's the word I'm looking for. They had people next to the keep as well behind it that I didn't want to take a hit from, so we dropped ourselves into a safer position. We got a shot into the ISU 152. We go for the shot into that right-hand side of the turret, and unfortunately we bounce. Like I say, it's a weak spot and you can hit it, but the thing is, it's a very difficult spot to actually pen, because there's a lot of spaces where the shot or the shell can go that will auto-ricochet, like on the little angled spots next to it, or will, you know, hit more angled spots like the turret gun mantlet, sorry, or the top of the turret where it will just, again, auto-ricochet. It's a very, very difficult spot to hit, but it is a weak spot that you can try and manipulate. And, yeah, we decided, okay, that position isn't working for me. That's not working for me. What I want to do is try and get stuck in over here and see if I can hurt the E75 and try and get rid of the guys that are next to the keep, and therefore be able to envelop the other people that are at GF12. So we come up on the side of the E75, get a shot straight through the side of this E75 here, just backing up to make it as difficult for them to get a shot into us. Now we get another shot straight through their side, and they get shut down by the Conway. Now that E75's gone, we're going to try and keep the pressure up on the IS-7 that's over here and the other medium tanks. If we can, like I say, sweep out the people that are here in the keep, that'd be great. So he is tracked in front of us. We try and get a shot into the side of him there, and unfortunately we only track the IS-7. He doesn't get pen there, which was kind of a sad thing. But we can see his driveway. We'll go for the tracking shot on the pen. We actually get both of them there, which is always glorious. And hopefully we'll get the kill. Will we get the reload? Yes, we will. And we managed to shut down the I-7 on the move. We're up to 3.5k damage with 896 assistance. There's only one tank left on the enemy team. And I had absolutely no idea where it was. So I assumed it might be in the corner below that ridgeline over there, where their spawn is. Because I thought, well, maybe he's AFK. But actually, he's on my right. He hits us with a shot. We go for that lower plate, aim a little bit too high, and hit his upper plate and bounce. Now we're going to get ourselves into the rock as much as possible, but unfortunately he shoots us again. He caught us in that little cheek spot that I was telling you about as well on the side, which is a shot you can go for. We get the shot into the lower plate of this MBT-B though, and he gets shut down by our friendly MBT-B. And we finish the game with the 4.2k damage, 896 assistance, the third place, 490 blocks because we blocked one shot, the sniper medal, third class, the 1250 base XP, a fairly average game there for the MBT-B, same as the last game. And again, showed what the tank can be capable of. You can see the gun, you can see the mobility is quite nice, the armour can be quite good, and then there's times where the armour is not that good and it catches shots that you go, oh, okay. So now we're on to the second, oh, sorry, it's not the second, it's the third replay of this video, which is probably the second best game I've had in this tank. And we're on it's not Sand River. My goodness me, brain. We need to switch on today. It's Steps. Yes, it's Steps. A map that I do thoroughly enjoy. I do love Steps. It's a great map. You've got two areas where you can go brawl. You've got the middle area, which can be death. And I do like going to this flank on the left from our spawn, because it's a nice open area. If you've got good mobility, good gun depression, you can go get hulled down, get yourself to aggressive positions, fight it out, which is glorious. But you also have a good corner at F12 to go fight, which is good for heavy tanks to go brawling. But in this, I didn't really want to go brawling with the heavy tanks. What I wanted to do was be the medium killer, because I have decent mobility. I can get myself to those good positions to be able to counter the mediums. I have good armour to be able to, you know, make it difficult for them to be able to pen me, and they have to aim for my spots, whereas, you know, depending on the medium tanks, like the Bat Chat, for example, I don't really have to aim for them too much, and then I can get my 420 Alpha into the game with a pretty decent DPM. And we've pushed aggressively on Steps, and found absolutely nothing, which sometimes happens. Occasionally, the enemy team just does not bother with the 9-0 whatsoever. From either spawn this can happen. It just happens that nobody goes here, and you're like, oh, well, okay, then I'll just push into your base, thank you very much. And we found this M48 120mm, who is really not paying attention. I'm like, hello? Hello? Mr. M48 120mm, I'm here. And it's like, oh, there we go. He's realised. He's realised I'm here. Hello, friend. And, well, he misses his next shot, and, well, yeah. It's curtains for you, my son. And we get rid of the M48 120mm there. But we found nothing. Pretty much their whole team is at G1, G2. We're in their base, and I'm like, what is going on? This is odd. Well, there's the Bayer. The Bayer gets spotted, and it's like, hello, friend. Oh, okay, he's turned my way. So what we're going to do is we're going to track it, and then we're going to drive after it. I thought, well, he's going to struggle to get his gun on target, but he repairs, and then he manages to get the shot on us. That could have been quite bad. Not going to lie, that could have been pretty bad, because if he fired AP there, he would have probably deleted my tank and probably ammo-racked me or something, and that wouldn't have been good. But we finally get the shot that we were going after there on the Bayer, because he was turning very quickly. We finally get that shot we wanted on the Bayer, We tracked it in place, and we shut it down. We're up to 3,000 damage in less than 3 minutes so far, which is pretty damn good. We go for the shot on the artillery, and I was aiming for the back end to try and track it in place. Hopefully either burn its repair kit or just keep it pinned there so we can get 1 or 2 or 3 shots into it. But unfortunately, of course, we ricocheted. We do get a good shot there into the IS-7, who we were spotting, so we're getting a decent amount of assistance on him. Now I want to put some pressure up on this medium tank that was on my right. What I want to do is try and clear out this right-hand section around these rocks so that I can then progress and attack their heavy tanks from behind. The Centauro realises where I am and gets out of dodge. And we're going to push up now so that we can get into these positions here, hull down, and start trying to, again, farm away. We've just got to be careful of the IS-7, because I don't want that guy to pop out and give us a big shot for 490. We get a shot into the lower side there of the Centauro. He got a shot into our lower plate, though. We're hull down against the E75. He can't quite find the shot, but he is overexposed. We go for the drive wheel shot, which tracks and pens him in place, and he is now tracked in the open. I was hoping to get a bit more tracking assist off him. We go for another shot towards his side, but unfortunately we ricochet there off of this E75. But we get another shot into his side, put him down to a 1 shot. Hopefully I might get the kill on this guy. The 3 tanks that are in front of us have all dropped down to the lower end. We had a red pen marker there against the Centauro, and I was thinking that angle looks a bit steep, but okay, we'll go for it. And unfortunately we ricocheted, which meant we didn't get that kill on the Centauro, but we're getting against the side of the MBT-B. We get a shot into his side and he gets shut down. We know the artillery is behind the rock on our left, and we know there's the 3 tanks left that are directly in front as well. So we're aiming towards the artillery in the hope that we might get a shot into him, because like I said, we knew he was there. We get the shot into the back end of the artillery. We know he's going to die, so we just ignore that now. We're going up behind the mouse, and this is where we've got to be a bit careful, because you don't want to RBRT on a mouse because the angles of that thing and how thick it is. You might just have a shot that ricochets. So we get a shot into the back end that actually pens. Go for the drive wheel of the 705A, but unfortunately the shot just goes a little bit to the left, which means we do pen it. We didn't track it though. Don't quite get the reload to get the shot into him before he charges towards our friend, but we do get there, make sure of the shot, and we low roll. 420 alpha 350 means we don't get the kill on that 705A, but we do finish the game with the epic victory. 2 kills, 7.1k damage, 1100 assistance, 1380 blocks, the high caliber, Confederate, first class, 1661 base XP. Really, really nice game for the MBT-B, and that was the second best game I've had in the tank so far. But this one, as always, is the best game that I've had in this tank, and we are on Mali. Now, it's not going to be quite the same in terms of damage-wise, but in terms of combined, it's the best game I've had. And base XP as well, I think. But it's on Mali, and what we're going to do is a do-or-die play. That's what this play is. It's a do-or-die, and that is that this play can either net you a fantastic game or death. That's just, there's no sugarcoating it, that's just the way it is. And as you can see, it's not starting off so well. We get spotted and detected immediately. We get hit and penned by the 5120. We hit him on the move. The Manticore tries to hit penners, misses, and we are detected. I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. Because this is the risky spot. This is the spot that if they have TDs in their base, you can go get penned a lot very, very quickly, and it's not a good time. We get a nice shot into the MBT-B on the move. The artillery hits us and tracks us, which we instantly repair because we've got to get out. Now, this Manticore's in a position where I'm thinking, oh god, he could actually farm me from there. I've got to be careful of that. But he ends up leaving it, which is probably a mistake. If you see someone take this position that I'm in the MBT-B, and you're on their team, don't full send this position because you'll probably die quite quickly, and it's not going to be a good time for you. Go to the position at D7, and you can completely counter this person. You can start getting shots into them, you'll distract them, you'll make it too difficult for them to be able to do anything in this place, and you'll keep whittling them down, and you'll get rid of them, because this position is very, very strong if left to do what you want. There, we pen the cheek weak spot there. We damage the ammo rack of that MBT-B. We actually penned him through the turret, and we're lighting all these guys up for our TDs. And you can see we're spotting all the guys going up onto the hill, so we've got some assistance of those people getting shot, and we're also spotting the medium tanks and the heavy tanks that are on our left for our artillery and our friends. We're up to 4,000 assistance already, less than 2 minutes into the game. Scout heavy tank, let's go. And we're up to 2,100 damage. Just going for the kill shot on the 5120, which we get in, and we shut that guy down. Now we know that the CS63 is alone on our left. We're just going to start trying to put some shots in. I was thinking about going shot to try and track and pen, but I thought I might only track it, and I didn't want this guy just to turn around and start farming us. But he's not reacting to us whatsoever. It's like, hello, Mr. CS63, I am here for your life, friend. Turn around. And he's finally turned around, got a shot into, well, he tried to get a shot into us. We got a shot into his side. We saw the light tank wrapping around, and I was thinking, the light tank's wrapping around. Is he in a platoon with that guy? And he was. That's why I was double checking, because I was thinking, right, if I'm shooting this CS63, am I going to have a unfriendly guest come after me? And we did actually get shot by the light tank, who tracked and penned us, but we managed to get the shot in to shut down the CS63, which is glorious. We're up to 4.4k assistance with 3.6k damage. Looking for the shot into the side of the E75 turret as it came over, and unfortunately, it just flew over the top of his tank, so we couldn't quite get the shot in. The Sturm-Tiger was looking for a derpy shot at us, which we don't want. The E75 drives out, look for the shot into his low plate. It flies through. Glorious times when that happens, and it penetrates it as well. The Sturm-Tiger, like I say, is looking for a shot at us. We go for the shot into his low plate, which actually tracked and penned him. Glorious times. 4.5k damage and 4.5k assist. And we're just looking to try and get rid of this Sturm-Tiger, because he's got a big gun. And he doesn't really have to pen us to do damage, so we don't want that guy to survive if we can. If we can get rid of his hit points, get rid of that tank's gun out of the game, that would be great. So we try and get a shot into the side of the 75. It just misses because we snapped it, and we didn't really lead it that well. But he stops in a position that maybe we can get a shot in, so he gets tracked. We get another shot through his driveway, which also tracks and pens him. The light tank bounces off our turret. The MBT-B is looking for shots at us. The Sturm-Tiger comes over again. We get a shot into the Sturm-Tiger's lower plate. I'm thinking, do I chance it? You know what? I might chance it to see if I can get another shot into this guy, put him down towards a one-shot. We miss. He splashes us for like 400, 500, 600. Gets rid of a lot of our hit points, which is not a good time. We are looking for shots into the side of the MBT-B, but we ricochet off the side of his turret because we just hit the upper section. The Sturm-Tiger's not really looking at us at the minute because there's a lot of people spotted towards their cap. And I'm thinking, this position now is starting to outlive its usefulness. But I'm still spotted, so I don't want to push yet. The MBT-B, I'm spotting myself, and he gets shot. So now I'm going to move up. And I get detected, I'm like, what? Oh, there it is, it's an AVRE. We spot the AVRE, and he ends up getting shot. We get the shot through the side of his turret, but we got all the assistance for spotting that AVRE. I did not expect the AVRE to be where he was. Thankfully, we spotted him. Our TD destroyed it with a shot and set it on fire, and we managed to finish it off. We're up to 5.6k damage and 6.2k assist. This light tank's been a pest against our AVRE, so we're going to come in and try and help if we can. Now the Manticore's not bothered with the AVRE is coming for us, we make sure that we're going to get the shot into him because he's doing a little jukey dance. We put him down to a one-shot. He gets a shot into our side. We're just watching the Sturm-Tiger to make sure he couldn't get a shot at us. We know the TD on our left can't get a shot at us, which means that we're free to go take out this Manticore, which we do. Now the artillery's looking at us, and I'm thinking, oh, goodness gracious me, the artillery's going to just end our day. We were lighting up the waterfall as well, so we've got a little bit more assistance on that guy. And I'm like, please don't do it. Thankfully, that CGC doesn't get the shot at us, and he misses. We're going to keep moving, though, towards the hill, because there is only 2 tanks left now. Switching between AP, Heat, and HE. Sod's Law. I'm switching between AP, Heat, and HE because I thought, well, maybe I could load some HE and go after the artillery because I thought, well, the Sturm-Tiger's just going to die. Nearly. And I thought, well, no, actually, if I load Heat, maybe I could go through the superstructure of the Sturm-Tiger and shut it down. And then I went, oh, no, I may as well just load AP because I think I'm going to do the same thing. And in that indecision of time of reloading, the Sturm-Tiger gave us a free shot, and we could have, if we were loaded, just finished it off, but it is what it is. Only 1 tank left. It is the artillery, and we're very lucky to be alive, because he could have quite easily finished us with that final shot. That final shot, though, I was like, oh no, the shot's coming now, I just stopped dead, and thankfully, because I stopped dead, the shot landed just in front of us, which meant that we didn't finish us off. We finished the game with the victory, 4 kills, 6.5k damage, 6.6k assist, it's like, what, 13k combined, the ace tanker, the high caliber, the scout medal, the steel wall, 1987 base XP, a really nice game for the MBT-B, the best game I've had in the tank. And yeah, the MBT-B is a pretty damn decent heavy tank. It's a pretty average American heavy tank. It does what it does. It's pretty good. You go hull down, you can laugh. You've got a pretty consistent gun, pretty good mobility. On the whole, it's a pretty damn good heavy tank to play. And yeah, you'll get it for free if you've played 7+ years of this game, and you can get it at a good discount if you've played less than that. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!